Good morning, Sawadee-ka. It's a great honor for me to stand here today in Bangkok, in Thailand, a country of vibrant ambition and growing green leadership. I thank our hosts, the Earth Jump Conference, and not least Kasikorn Bank, known as the Bank of Sustainability, for the invitation to me to share Denmark's journey towards a sustainable and carbon-neutral future. The story I'm going to tell you is not a fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen, whom you may know or have heard of. This is a true story. It begins with a clear and ambitious goal. Denmark, as a country, aims to be carbon neutral by 2045. Ambitions strongly led by the capital of Denmark, Copenhagen, a city that has set the tone early, launching one of the world's most ambitious city climate plans back already in 2012. I will return to that later. But the picture you can see here is actually from Copenhagen. It shows one of the canals, the inner harbor of Copenhagen, which until 10-15 years ago used to be an industrial area. Today, it's a famous tourist spot in Copenhagen, and in the summertime, tens of thousands of people will bathe, jump into the water in the canals. It has been purified and is totally clean today. But we will get back to that. Denmark's sustainable journey has been decades in the making. It all began in the 1970s, in the winter of 1973, when the first oil crisis hit the world. Denmark at the time was totally dependent on fossil fuels, imported oil only. So when OPEC raised the prices, the Danish economy was very badly hit. It led the government and parliament to start diversifying the Danish energy supply, moving first from oil and then to coal gradually and into a more renewable track from there on. It was bound on a pledge to invest heavily in renewable energy and energy efficiency. The means being the stick and the carrot. The stick, very high taxes on all kinds of fossil fuels. The carrot being economic incentives to businesses and private individuals to bring down energy consumption. So it took the form of subsidies. If you were a house owner, you could get a tax rebate or an economic incentive if you invested in improving your house, if you invested in new windows, thermostats, etc. So we diversified our energy sources, we prioritized energy efficiency, and we started prioritizing and scaling renewable energy solutions. Now at this point, I think it's important to stress to you that Denmark is a small country. I think we are about just a little less than 6 million people in total. I think Thailand today is 72 million, so 12 times bigger. So we are a small nation, and when it comes to CO2 emissions, we only emit 0.1% of total global CO2 emissions. So it doesn't really matter what we do in Denmark, internally or nationally. But still, we do have big ambitions. We want to share the Danish journey so others can follow in our path. And I have some figures here I'm proud to give to you. As you can see, we reduced our greenhouse gas emissions by 48% since 1990. Total energy consumption has decreased by 15%. More than 60% of all electricity consumption in Denmark is now based on renewable energy sources, primarily wind and solar. And Copenhagen, as the capital of Denmark, has cut its CO2 emissions by around 80%, all compared to 1990 levels. But what is interesting, in addition, is that over the same decades, we have managed to grow our economy, gross domestic product, by almost 80%. What you can see that in this way, we have been able to actually decouple economic growth from the use of energy. And that's a very, very important message that we try to communicate to our international visitors to Denmark, that you can actually have economic growth and at the same time reduce your overall energy consumption. The green transition in Denmark has been anchored in strong public-private partnerships and continuous innovation. Partnerships between the government, business and industry, civil society, and NGOs. So this is not just a climate ambition we have in Denmark, it's an economic and social strategy we have chosen. We have learned and we can show in Denmark that green growth and job creation go hand in hand. In fact, over the past decade, green sectors in Denmark have seen consistent growth. Today, more than 83,000 full-time jobs in Denmark are directly linked to the green transition. And this number is expected to rise in coming years due to major public investments in clean technologies and export-driven demand for Danish green solutions. Solutions within the renewable energy sector, within energy efficiency, within water management and green construction. This is not just about reducing emissions, it's also about building new industries and new opportunities. And this development, positive development, is not only a Danish phenomenon. A new analysis that has just been published this month from the OECD and the UNDP actually provides evidence that if you have high climate ambitions, they are not only achievable, they also make economic sense, even in the short term. As I said earlier, Denmark's green transition began with a strong political will back in the 1970s during the oil crisis. And this political commitment is still very strong. Only 5 years ago, the Danish Parliament passed a legally binding climate act, committing us to reach a 70% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. The law was supported by a very broad majority in Parliament. 167 members of Parliament out of 179 members of Parliament voted for the law, underscoring that climate action in Denmark is not a political agenda, it's a national commitment. This commitment is visible across sectors. Copenhagen, Denmark's capital, as I mentioned, has one of the world's most ambitious municipal climate strategies. Already in 2012, before the National Climate Act, Copenhagen took the lead and launched its climate plan, aiming to become the world's first carbon-neutral society by 2025. We are not there yet. Full carbon neutrality will not be achieved by the end of this year, but the city has already reduced emissions by 80%, as I mentioned a little earlier, reflecting substantial progress. And this has been done at the same time that the population in the city has risen by 20% since 2012. The picture here on the screen is showing one of the climate adaptation plans from inner Copenhagen, where you have a playground that has been turned into, that can serve as a water reservoir when we have heavy rains. And Copenhagen continues to lead globally in sustainable urban development through investments in, for instance, climate adaptation, public transportation. We have new metro lines underway in Copenhagen, and also investment in district heating. Copenhagen ranks among the world's most livable cities due to these investments. And the city and the suburbs have extensive cycling infrastructure. Almost 60% of all daily commutes in Copenhagen are made by bike. The picture on the screen now actually shows a waste-to-energy plant. I showed you before the harbor was turned into a swimmable quality and integrated green hub. We have also, this is called the Copenhagen-the. It's a combined waste-to-energy production, and it also serves as a ski slope and a public park. And it has become one of the hallmarks of Copenhagen. The city's efforts have also positioned it as a founding member of the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group. Copenhagen's ambitious climate leadership sparked wider national momentum and has inspired all municipalities across Denmark to develop their own climate action plans. This local leadership also played a crucial role in building the political consensus behind the National Climate Act I mentioned before. So what you can say is that Copenhagen's example shows how city-level action can catalyze broader national change and remain a model for cities worldwide. Across the country, public-private partnerships have driven innovation, investment, and scale. The Danish wind industry is a good example. Denmark actually was the first country in the world to build a wind farm offshore, and today wind energy accounts for around 46% of our total electricity consumption. This success is also supported by a strategic focus on workforce transition. Through education, upskilling, and social dialogue, we have ensured that workers who used to work in the fossil-based industries are not left behind, but instead have been retrained for the green economy. And this has helped maintain social cohesion while driving a just transition. And we're also seeing significant public investment to boost this transition these years. In April, last month, the Danish government opened applications for a major green investment scheme with a budget of close to $100 million. And this initiative is expected to unlock an additional $630 million in green industrial investment and support the creation of almost 4,000 new jobs. Of these, 1,500 are expected directly within manufacturing sectors, such as wind turbines and electrolysis systems, with an additional 2,000 jobs emerging through spillover effects in related sectors like metal production and wholesale. So once again, I think this goes to testify how investment in the green transition fosters not only green business, but also economic growth and job creation. And last but not least, the new green jobs in Denmark that have been created have primarily been in the regions of Denmark that traditionally are most affected by unemployment. I looked up on the results here in Thailand and the ASEAN region, and I see a lot of tremendous opportunity for green growth here. Thailand, as I see it, has made remarkable progress in areas such as electric vehicle production, solar energy deployment, and circular economy solutions. Notably, your Eastern Economic Corridor, the EEC, provides important lessons for accelerating public-private collaboration and integrating sustainability into economic planning. These efforts are not only creating green jobs, but also driving local innovation, increasing energy security, which is high on the global agenda these days, and also building economic resilience. And in this way, Thailand demonstrates, in my mind, how targeted policy instruments and business incentives can accelerate sustainable development at scale. The organization I represent, State of Green, is a not-for-profit, public-private partnership tasked with sharing Denmark's experiences and expertise. We believe that international collaboration is key to accelerating the global green transition. And that's exactly the reason why our organization every year hosts about 2,500 international visitors, commercial and political decision makers who come to Denmark to learn from the Danish experience. We believe that collaboration is key to accelerating the green transition. Denmark stands ready to share our experience and to learn from others. That is why initiatives like the conference today and tomorrow, EarthJump, are so crucial. Let me leave you with one final message. It's important to stress that sustainability should not be a sacrifice. It's an investment. We should see it as an investment. An investment in innovation, in people, in job creation, and in the future we all share. Denmark's journey shows that climate leadership can drive competitiveness, resilience, and prosperity. And after all, resilience, when it comes to the point, is about de-risking the future, a notion I think many of you as bankers or financial stakeholders know all about. So let us together de-risk the future. Thank you for the opportunity for me to share the Danish insights. We look forward to walking this path together with you. Thank you very much. Khop kun ka.
กสิกรไทยบริการทุกระดับประทับใจ